Tin Mama Htet, or Tess as she's known, may still be relatively young in years, but she's already made a tremendous impact as an educational leader in her home country of Myanmar. One of her most powerful teaching methods is storytelling. Tess utilizes unique and outside-the-box methods to train educators and promote student-centered learning in religious schools across Myanmar. Tess is passionate about passing on traditional stories and uses them as a tool to promote critical thinking, academic skills, and moral values. I was able to speak to Tess at the annual meeting of the Clinton Global Initiative about her life story and what inspires her storytelling passion. All right, well, Tess, first of all, you are so dedicated to education. I mean, that's your thing.
Yeah.
Why is that? I mean, where did that come from for you?
There are three things which make a teacher what I am right now. The first thing is that I was really into teaching. I love teaching. One of my earliest memories would be I would be asking my neighbors, the younger friends, to come over to my house and ask them to become my students. And I would teach them.
How old were you?
I'm sure I was in primary school, but like they were like tiny. They just don't know anything. I remember that I was doing drilling activities with them and like writing on the wall, because my house is wooden house, so I just write on the wall with a chalk. And my mom used to be really upset with me because she's the one who wants to clean up all the mess after that I have done. So I was really into teaching since I was young. And after that, I went to the primary school, a government school, and I found some teachers who doesn't really like mixed-blooded students, and like I was really dark, and I was really tiny, and I was mixed blood. Like my dad is Indian, so they don't really like that kinds of children, and we were very poor. So I was really discriminated against when I was young. So I was really into teaching. Then I thought, no, when I grow up, I'm not going to be like a teacher here. Like, no, I really want to be a teacher who values all the children in the classroom, and I really want to make a difference in children's life. Those are some of the thinking that I had since I was young. And then I moved to a monastic school to study, where I found so many diverse communities, and the school monastic. The principal was really good, and he was really encouraging, and there were so many students who were coming from the hilly region who doesn't want to be child soldier at that time, so they just ran away from their area and come and studied in our area. So
and they would take them in, no matter who they were.
No matter where they come from, no matter which religions they come from, he would just take in. And now we've got like 1,000 students staying at the school, and 7,000 students are studying in that school. So after seeing all sort of things, and I really don't want to see children on the street or like children working at the tea shops and stuff like that. So I thought educating children will be very beneficial, and I also don't want to let the children to feel bad about themselves for not getting the education. So that's how I become a teacher right now and working for the children passionately.
That's amazing that you wanted to be a teacher since you were so young. And be inspired that way came from somewhere, certainly. Let's talk about the monastic school, that education, form of education. Explain what a monastic school is.
Yeah, monastic school usually is a Buddhist school. So it's usually led by Buddhist monks, which are usually free of charge school for the children from poor background, who are orphans, street children, and they don't care where they come from. As I mentioned, they don't really care where they come from, what religions they are from, or what race they are. They accept everyone for a free education. And monastic school education has got very long history in the back. Since 11th century, since King Anoyata was ruling the country, the monastic schools play an important role back then as well. So they educate the royal princes and skilled workers. So everyone was educated there. And back then, early 1900s, the literacy rates in Burma was quite high in Asia. And this happened because of the monastic schools. And right now, we had some struggle with previous governments, and we had to shut down monastic school again. But now we have been studying. The children are getting benefits from the monastic school, not only from Buddhist Buddhist society, but also from other society as well.
Right. It just sounds, because it's so inclusive.
Yeah, it is very
that
inclusive.
That's what education should be, right?
Yeah.
It should be for everyone, no
Yeah.
matter what background you're from
Yeah.
and no matter what your economic situation
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that sounds great that that's starting to grow again,
Yeah.
that kind of education.
Yeah.
Another thing that you like to promote, well, you love to promote, is the idea of storytelling.
Yes.
And the importance of that in a child's life and education.
Yeah.
Tell me how that came about. Why did you gravitate towards the idea of storytelling?
Yeah, it's also because of part of this comes from my family as well. My parents couldn't finish their education, and they only finished up to primary schools. So when I was young, they were not confident enough to read to me, or they don't even aware of reading to me. So I just have to teach myself to get better at the literacy and everything. But what they did really well was oral storytelling at night. So whenever they put me into bed, they would tell me stories. Usually the stories are about how to become better people, because we've got a lot of stories about moral values and how to behave, how to become better person in the future. So these are the stories that I have grown up with, and I really love stories to listen or to tell to the children. Then in 2009, there was a training for us. It's called Youth Culture and Development Workshop, organized by Siam Mustafa from Thailand. And there I met a professor from Thailand who is really passionate about storytelling. And then we were trained about storytelling for one day. Then along with other friends of mine who are really interested in storytelling as well. So we found a group called Myanmar Storyteller in 2009. From that time on, we've been starting to collect stories across the country. We've been telling and performing stories in orphanages, monastic schools, Islamic schools, Christian schools, even in senior homes, and everywhere. We do street performances when we need to do fundraising for disasters and everything. So that's what we do together.
So, and these stories are obviously universal if you're able to tell them to different kids and adults from different cultures and religions.
Yes.
So tell me specifically, what are these stories about, some of them?
Stories usually reflect on peace, diversity, and tolerance. Most of them are traditional stories reflect moral values and how a person should be for the other. Like, how do we need to interact with the others? How should we behave in the society? So these are kinds of the story that we used to tell. But it is a bit different when I use the stories in my teacher trainings as well, because sometimes we more focus on literacy development of the students. So it's more focused on the content area, and sometimes we also focus on moral values, which we get from the books.
Well, Myanmar, obviously, many of us know it has had a volatile history in politics and, culture. And like you said, there's a lot of minority groups that are at odds. But, it's always said that education is the way to freedom. It's the way for more creativity and more peace.
Yeah.
I feel like you're sort of really trying to push for that, for change in your country in that way.
Yeah. The education system has been really, really good before, a long time before, but now the quality has been decreasing. And it is really sad that the system has been focusing on exams rather they're not focusing on critical thinking or creativity or like discussions, and it's really hard. So it is very, one of the sad thing for me to see that children are not exposed to questioning to the others, discussing with others, or enjoying their lives, but instead trying to spend so many hours memorizing the text that they have given from their teachers, and it's really tough. That's why in our teacher training we try to include a lot of interactive and participatory activities so that the teacher can experience it, because it's been like one generation has been left behind, and the teacher themselves, they have never experienced through what is like alternative teaching strategies, because they were in their classroom and their teacher told them to memorize and sit the exam. And if they got high marks, they go to medical school. And if they don't get just normal school, which they might not even have a good job after that. So they don't have experience to it. So that's why I'm trying to let them experience what does it feel like to be in a child-centered classroom? What does it feel like to be in a classroom where they nurture participations of the students and the discussions?
Your story is amazing, Tess. You're 25 years old, and you've already done everything that you've already done. That's amazing to me. So I
Thank
have
you.
a feeling that you have a very long future ahead of you,
Thank you.
making a huge difference, not just in your country, but throughout the world. So
Yep.
good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting me.